Good. All right. How are we going to do that? Are we going to do a conjoined slap? A con a conslap?
Yeah,
a
sure.
Conslapuation? A conslaboration? Anyway, we are here as I think there's only, how many is there? One, two. There's this many today. So this is a continuation of our I guess our latest SlapperCast. We are very, very happy to announce that most of us have got power back. Chad never lost it. Today is Slapper Day, July. Who gives a damn? We're just about a week without power. We had a Category 1 Hurricane Beryl come through Houston and knocked out a bunch of people. Are still without power, without lights, without food. I mean, just awful.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching from outside the greater Houston area, all you have to know is that Centerpoint, our energy, I say energy company. I mean, that's a I don't know. That's calling Gandhi like a fat connoisseur or something. We're just appalling situations. Just the worst. I don't know if there's a worse electrical company on the planet, but Centerpoint got to be at the top as far as the worst. And we're hearing all kinds of, once you're a couple of days without power in 95 degree or 95 plus degree weather, and their website that doesn't give you any information. We have it used to be a local, but now it's a national burger chain called Whataburger here in Texas, founded in Corpus Christi, Texas. But their map of their open locations was more widely used than Centerpoint's website, telling you where and when your power would be restored, if they were thinking about restoring it. So it's just a hideous affair. So here we are. This is the second part of our interview with our wonderful friends from Kansas, the Sassanachs. We are very, very pleased to announce that we are this coming Sunday. We're going to be up in Hesston, Kansas, with the lads at Emma Creek Barn, and this is I think our fourth time playing there. Marvelous, wonderful location. If you're ever thinking about getting married, you need to call our friends over at the Emma Creek Barn. Beautiful grounds, great staff, great air, everything's perfect. So we'll have a lovely time with them. It's and then we're off to right before we play with them, we're going to our beloved O'Malley's in Weston, Missouri, and then we're going up to a little place called Omaha, Nebraska, and then we're going to we're going to come on home. So we are very, 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 very happy to be going back out on the road, getting a little Midwest time, getting to see some corn. Yeah, and
finally,
yeah, I know it's been a long time, and we are. Yeah, very, very excited about that. So, again, here it is with Matt and John Werner. You've probably seen their trucks all over America. There's a Werner Trucking Company. That's their side project. Those guys are just, they make Jeff Bezos look like a pauper. So anyway, I hope you enjoy our lovely chat with these lads. We're going to have a lot more to say with and about them very, very soon here in the next couple of days, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so let me do some rapid fire questions here, boys and girls. I'm going to start with the Werner brothers, John or Matt and John, whoever wants to go first. Can you just give us a couple of your influences, just your musical influences?
I would say the obvious ones that we talked about, but other than that, I really enjoy, or just even what Me First and the Gimme Gimmes do.
Oh,
it's entertaining. You don't take yourself too serious, right? And I think that's what it is. And then plenty of energy, but I always was amazed too at the energy from even, going to the punk shows, even the rockabilly, we talked maybe a little bit about it before, but Reverend Horton Heat, watching him up there
yes,
the show.
Yes.
And that's what always, I think, impressed me was, and then people come to our shows and they're like, it's just, you guys don't ever stop, and that's kind of what I think you pull from that. And then the first time people go and see that, and they're only used to seeing shows in coliseums or arenas, and you're so far away and sitting on a chair, and they come to a show like that, or even see you guys or us, and I think it's just eye opening. And so that would be a few things that I think influenced me and how I want our shows to be, and how I want us to hopefully stand.
I'm the same path pretty much. The one thing I can go back a little bit further too and say that early on, honestly what made me want to play guitar was Jimmy Page. Listening to Led Zeppelin, I really just got into that. I listened to it so much they got sick of it. They wouldn't. I'd turn it on, they'd leave the room and stuff like that. And all my early songs that I learned was Jimmy Page. Trying to figure out his, and that's my style has a little bit of blues to it, and everything. It was cool because our dad loved old country, like old country. And so we had that influence growing up. And then my mom was actually kind of diverse, but she loved Motown. And so we had Motown in our house and stuff like that. So it was just, it's a great background to have.
But they hated each other.
Probably that was your fault, right?
Yeah.
That was your fault.
Yeah. It was our fault. They were fighting over the radio.
Yeah. I did a lot of therapy, Patrick. Thanks a lot. But okay. Yes, it was my fault.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. I'm glad that my mom and my dad didn't like pigeonhole into one style of music, so that I was able to get. It's a very diverse thing. But the punk too. I got into the punk like Matt did. And that's what I was at the Vans Warped Tour, and that's where I think I told the story last time I saw Flogging Molly, which I was like, okay, wait a second. Now, punk's cool, but that's really cool, and I want to try that, So that's where that kind of changed.
Yeah. I think Turbo's got a lot of the same background there.
Well, back when you did songs, you would kill them and shine a light. Turbo would always honestly shine a light on songs that we loved. Like it was always like he was always hitting home runs every time for us.
Yeah,
man, you guys, dude, I like these two guys right here.
Well, and I'm a nut about Bad Religion. I really got into. I had a Bad Religion phase for a long time, and really got into it. I'll never forget the previous drummer. He wore a Bad Religion shirt. And I was like, oh, Bad Religion. I love those guys. And he went, wait, what?
Yeah,
that's it.
That was it. That was it. That was the extent.
That was our conversation.
Yeah. That was a good mood. A really good mood that time. Yeah. So I know we know this, and just for redundancy, just Turbo influence. Couple of them. What are they?
I would say probably Trey Cool, Green Day, Travis Barker. I don't know if you noticed, but my kid is set up on his kit style. So that's how I got that when he was taken off. I was like, oh, I'm going to set my kit up like that, and that's kind of really where I morphed into that kit. That setup. So that'd probably be my two main influences.
Yeah.
But probably the best drummer I've ever seen, though, this is going to be a total curveball. I went and saw Lil Wayne, the rapper, live. And you ever talk about somebody you look at as a musician and you go, they're unreachable? That's the unreachable. His drummer, I was like, am I hallucinating? Like, it was like that dude was rubber. Just, I'd never seen anything like it. He was phenomenal. Like another level, another planet. But
that's awesome.
I don't even know his name. I just was like, the whole time I was like, I couldn't stop watching him. It was crazy. But anyway, that's those would be my drummers.
So when you went home, did it make you want to set fire to your drum kit?
I was like, I need to practice a whole lot more. Like, you're just like, oh my God. Like, no, I was stoked. I was like, dude, look at this. I kept elbowing Miss Moxie going, are you seeing this? And she's like, stop, I'm watching him, And I'm like, no, watch that guy. Like, forget Lil Wayne. I mean, he's awesome. But I was like, forget that dude. Watch that guy. Like, he was kind of like this, like, diagonal. It was like the kit was kind of flowed like that. I never seen anything like it. And he kind of played like that. And it was just, I'm telling you, man, I got to find a recording of it. It was awesome. It was awesome.
All right, Chad, same question.
R&B drummers were like that. They're just so good. And, And you've heard Dave Grohl kind of talk about how he ripped off like a lot of the R&B drummers and stuff like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Chad, same question. Fire away.
Yeah, I always try to think of a different answer to this, but I can't avoid it. The film stopped making sense. The Talking Heads concert film, which has been hot on my mind lately because they just came out with a Blu-ray release of their new remastered version of the film. But that film, not only did it get me interested in playing, I mean, it was everything. It made me want to learn how to play guitar, specifically acoustic guitar. Maybe want to be in a band, maybe want to perform, maybe want to write songs, all those things. It pushed me to dance in public for the first time when I was 16. It's all these things. Because the first song I played, I learned how to play was Psycho Killer on acoustic guitar. That was like that was like when I first picked up guitar, that was like my dream to be able to learn how to play guitar the way that David Byrne does at the beginning of that movie. It's very simple, but I was like, that's the coolest thing in the world. And since I've joined this band, as far as bass, I keep coming back to Geezer Butler, and I haven't really. It's not like I've sat and studied him endlessly, but because Patrick introduced me to a lot of his influences when we first started working together, and that was one of the bands that I just resonated with me right off the bat. Of course, I knew where they were, but I never really listened to him growing up. I wasn't a metal guy, but listening to Geezer play but the way that he would riff and sort of groove in with the other guys, particularly Tony. I just like, man, I really I really dig this. And I'd already been playing bass, not professionally, but his approach to playing was just it just felt like being at home. It's like, I can really dig into this, and I'm almost always kind of, there's hardly anything I play that's not touched by his style. I think it's pretty pervasive. So yeah, I just think he's great. He's one of the greatest. So,
yeah,
there's a lot of other people in there too, but he's definitely the biggest influence, I think, on me.
So let me go back up to Kansas here. Give me your. We're gonna have two answers for this. So the two questions are: one, a dream fantasy gig. Who would you want to play with in any time, in the whole history of music? And then the second one, dream gig 2024, 2025. I know it's kind of a loaded question, but you're on SlapperCast, so that's what you get. So again, Matt or John or Matt, whoever wants to go first. So, and you can answer them in any order, but fantasy gig, and then realistic gig. What's your dream gig?
Man, I thought about this. I was thinking more too of venue. Like where would you want to play? Do you have a fantasy gig? Go ahead.
Well, the fantasy gig is to do the tour of Ireland with Blaggards. Duh.
Oh yes, that's a great answer. Let's shut it down. Let's shut down that's it.
But I'll finish with that too. Like the one thing I'd say too about, he talks about venue, and that's something too. When in Kansas, and you probably get a lot of this in Houston too, but when we walk into a bar to play, they're expecting either some country music or some classic rock. And so we are already kind of behind, like a little bit. We have to come in and win these people over. And so, we've actually done a pretty good job of pulling that off. And there is some kind of satisfaction in that. But it would be kind of nice to walk into a place that is expecting Irish rock, and we deliver. So that would be something I would love to do. And like you said, 2025 or whatever, is kind of hit some places where the only time that ever happens is St. Patty's Day. And to be honest, in Wichita, the bars, there's 2 Irish bands playing on St. Patty's Day. The rest of the bars book a classic rock band or a country singer or something, and they call it their St. Patty's party or whatever like that. But yeah, it would be nice to walk in there and go, okay, good, this is what I came to see and everything. And not have to win them over, just have them on right away. But like I said, winning them over too, there is some satisfaction in that too, being able to champion that. But there you go. All right, now your turn.
I love it. Love it.
From the beginning, we said a dream would be Weston. Been there so many times in O'Malley, seen you guys there a few times, and now that's always been one of the coolest places to go. And that was a huge. It was unrealistic when we were thinking about it back then. Maybe someday now.
I heard they don't accommodate 52-inch televisions. So
we could project it on the roof.
Dang it, he figured our secret out already. God.
Yeah. Everybody's got the Lemmy mics, you know. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
It's also it is fun when and I'm sure some of the places aren't set up great for bands, especially when there's 7 of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you're in this. Yeah. Sometimes you're in the sun, baking, cooking, whatever.
Yeah.
But if the fans are there and having a good time and you know in it, we're fortunate that now we have some places where it's awesome too for the bar owner. Here's a big crowd, you know, and they'll tell us like, you guys always bring the crowd. So that's always cool, you know. But there again, a lot of these places we're playing in a parking lot outside a brewery. You know?
Yeah, and usually it's always. I mean, 99% of the time it's inclement weather. It doesn't matter if it's 1,000 degrees or 100 below. It's always something, and it's all. But man, I really and John, it's funny that you say that. I've never really thought about it like that. 20 years, and I've never. We go in all the time. They're not expecting. In Houston, Texas, 99% of the places they're not expecting that. And we just played a place. We just played a place a few weeks back, and they do top 40 cover music all the fucking time. We don't play it ever. And we had our people come out, but their people sure as hell didn't know what was going on. Now we've got a little bit extra in the bag. We can put some stuff out, but it's not it's not and the staff usually dig it. The staff usually say, "Hey, this is great. You're not playing what's on the radio." So that's a really interesting I mean, I guess we've always known, it's one of those things that being brought to light like that is kind of remarkable. Turbo, if you could give us a fantasy gig and a dream gig for what you got.
I'm going to say the fantasy gig. I got 2 and I'll make it quick. I would say headlining Warped Tour. I think that would be,
Wow.
I remember looking at all the bands listed, and you had to kind of, there's no phones back then. You had to map out where you were going to go. And I swear, man, by the time Warped Tour was over that day or the weekend, however many days I win, I would just be exhausted, and I'm like, man, I always wanted to play that and do that. I think that would be cool. But I remember when I was a kid, I went to my first concert. I was 9 years old. I went and saw Huey Lewis. And I just remember while I was watching that, I was fantasizing, how do I get on that stage? Like, that would be amazing. You know what I mean? So that'd probably be, just to share that moment. But I think a reality show now would be, I saw a show down in Hollywood at their Universal. I think it's the amphitheater is what they call it. And I saw the Offspring down there with Linkin Park and a bunch of bands, Pennywise, whole bunch. And I was like, man, this would be a dream to play a place like this,
Yeah.
And when Offspring played, the USC marching band came down the walkways in between the crowd. I was just like, I couldn't even. I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know that was gonna be there, And I was just like, this would be amazing. But that would be my fantasies.
That's very cool. Chad, same question.
Well, Turbo and Patrick already know the answer to this because we chatted about it earlier. But dream gig has been always and remains playing on the David Letterman show. I know that he retired, but God damn it, it's still my dream.
That'd be cool.
So Stephen Colbert would be a nice second to that, since he's the guy who took over that job. I'd be honored to be on that stage, no matter who's the host, honestly. But yeah, that was always that was some people look at Carnegie Hall. I was always looking at Letterman. That's as far as I was looking. Fantasy gig. This involves time travel and maybe like the power of resurrection. But I would love to go back and play play acoustic guitar with John Lennon or play bass for David Bowie. I think that would be. I would have to displace Gail Dorsey, which I don't want to do. But I would love to just sit and play with him and Reeves Gabrels during that period of the band. I think would be an incredible thrill.
Yeah. So, man, this is gold. And gentlemen, let me ask you this. This is a loaded question to our friends in Kansas. What are the chances of us doing this again? Say yes. Say yes.
The
All right.
podcast?
Yes.
Are you talking about the podcast?
Yes. SassyCast.
We sit by our phones all the time waiting for you to call. Like we're crying sometimes. Until
That's the right answer. You guys are on fire tonight.
And then we run around the house. Oh, he's calling. And then we're like, we take a deep breath. We're like,
it's happening. It's happening.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Patrick? How's it going? Yeah. We could probably do that. I'll see if I can work it into my busy schedule. I don't have a life. He's got a life. I don't have a life.
Boss, he's trying to get the front seat from me. What the heck, dude? He's over here. Listen, man, I fight for that.
I'm waiting. I am waiting for that call. There's 2 calls I'm waiting for. The first one is to come down there and yell, "What do you have? Have a pint!" I'm so ready. I've been training for this all my life. Okay,
yes.
For your recording.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, why have I not been on your podcast? That's Gandalf for Lord of the Rings. Prodigious, whatever. I can't say the name of your podcast.
That's close enough.
That's probably why you want me to be on there. I can't say the name of it.
I can't say it either.
Nobody can.
Yeah.
But nobody is more nerdy than me about. I speak Elvish. Why am I not on your podcast?
We actually haven't talked about Lord of the Rings, but maybe we should, and we'll get you on.
We got Rings of Power coming out season 2. There you go.
Okay, there you go. That'd be perfect. Yeah. All right.
I'm always closing the deal here. Closing the deal. They call me the Hammer.
Yeah. Hammer to Hunter.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I listen. I vote that we do this again. I want to do this a few times before we head up your way, and also I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know what's happening in July, what's happening after we leave town, but if we can get something close by, brewery style, if we can get one of the breweries or something like that, and we can get you up on there, you can get. Doesn't matter what configuration of the band can come up, but if you guys can come up, we want to do some of these. We call them guerrilla shows, where we kind of just show up. We get the brewery or the vineyard or the venue to approve it, and if we can get it and there's the space, because we've worked together and we all get along, and I'm thrilled to hear your originals, and I hope that we can put some clips on in here of them, because I'd love to. I know our people would love it, and I know that we would love to have you come down and play. But especially when we're up in that vicinity, if we can get anything up in and around there, and we can get you out there, I definitely want to do some sassy Blaggard stuff. But
I'm going to try my best to get up to Weston for one night for sure too.
Oh, good. Well, let's bring your singing voice. We're getting you up.
Okay. I don't know if you know what I do in Weston, but it usually isn't conducive to putting me up on stage.
Yeah. Well,
I was banned from Weston for a long time by little Miss Colleen. Miss Colleen shut me down after the Super Bowl party I went up there to Weston. Yeah.
This past one?
That ended pretty. Yeah. I may have overindulged a little bit, which it happens. It happens in Weston. That town does that.
Wow. Yeah.
So Miss Colleen was like, no, we're not going back. But I think I got her talked into going back now. I think we're good. I have to behave myself.
Okay.
All right. Well, listen, that's going to be the story.
I kept telling her I had the flu, but she did not believe me.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's keep that story. Let's keep that story for the next episode, because I want to hear that one. But let's commit to doing this again, because, like I say, I want to push our gig up there with you guys in Kansas, and I'm serious. I want to do some more stuff, and I want to keep those songs coming out. We're doing the same thing. Our fire's been lit, so let's keep it going. It's now July 2025. Let's have by Christmas time. Let's have an album's worth each. Okay, is that a deal?
Does an album count as like one song? Because I did write a Christmas song.
Yeah. Well, we have to have a Christmas song.
Yes.
We have to have a Christmas song.
It has to be 25 minutes long, though.
Yeah.
You can get anything you want at Alice's Restaurant. Got it.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. So from John, from Matt Werner up in Kansas, from Turbo, from Chad, from myself, thank you for tuning in. Please share this with all your friends. If you live even within 10,000 miles of Kansas, please share this video, and let's go check out the Sassanachs. Let's hear their stuff. Let's spread it around. Let's get the word out. And I can't wait to do this again. Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure. Love having you.
Thank you so much for supporting us and all of the stuff that you've done for us. It's been very humbling and it's awesome.
Art, man, it's our pleasure.
Likewise, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to hit stop now and don't go anywhere because we make sure we get your files. I suspect the next episode will probably be us on the road, so maybe we'll talk more about the hurricane then.
You're like Nostradamus. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
And then so we hope that all our friends have got power again. Most of us have been just around a week without power in this grueling heat, and so we're sending out our best regards and our coolest wishes to our friends in and around our area that are still without power. So anyway, we thank you for listening. We thank you for watching. And remember, just keep an eye on the calendar. A lot of really, really, really fun stuff coming up. And check out the Espionage Act. They're out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Great punk rock and roll band. And do yourself a favor. Go check them out. The Espionage Act.
Yes. All right.
Let's wrap it up. Hey, Turbo, keep your mouth shut. We'll talk to you in the van. You just keep your mouth shut, and we'll take care of you later. Sound good?